Greetings, viewers. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Got a great Elite mod game here for you tonight. Little 2-on-2 action on Medean Cliff Mines where we're hanging out looking at the center victory point over here right in the middle of everything. And we also had a great one-on-one Elite mod tournament this weekend as well. I believe that was run by Carnivore and casted by Iconopony on his Twitch TV stream. Also, I think a couple other casters jumped in there, possibly Cursed or Rocco. I'll be sure to double check on that and post the links in the description once I figure that out. Anyways, we've also got next episode, I'll be announcing my next DLC giveaway. It's been a while since I did one of those, and I figure let's go ahead and do another. I'll have to figure out what I want to do, though. I want to do something a little more involved. Last time I had you guys just leave some comments and request your DLCs. I've got a bunch of DLCs. I'll actually give away a copy of the game, too, because I know some of you viewers don't actually own the game. You just like to watch, and I want to get one of you guys in on the fun as well. So anyways, let's go ahead, start taking a look at the game before I go on with any more of this senseless guff. We've got a 2-on-2, as I mentioned. Over on the blue team, we've got the pestilent DJraffa over here with his Plague Champion. And then we've got a pair of nasty, unstoppable, completely apathetic to the lives of their men Commissar Lords that will get the job done no matter what the cost. On the blue team, Peacemaker. And on the red team, Stoned Elf Boy. And then rounding out the red team, we have Mr. PennyFlame as the Space Marine Force Commander. That immovable object and unstoppable force. So let's go ahead and get this rolling here. Medean Cliff Mines, if you're not familiar with it, one of my favorite 2-on-2 maps. We had a match here recently. Coke has it with Keltos, of course. Go check that out. Power, natural power, right in front of each player's base. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we've got the natural VPs on opposing corners. This one down here has this ledge and kind of a bunch of green cover on either side. This can kind of put a dev up here or a dev back here to really lock that down and force a long distance flank. Same thing with the top VP. You've got a couple choke points and then a big open area with a bunch of green cover. We can see this top VP getting locked down with the multi-laser turret nice and quickly. And that's a good... Actually, I like that a lot because normally these natural VPs don't get a lot of action right away. But you'll see a lot of ninja capping with like scout squads or sluggers, capping squads generally. And that multi-laser turret will really dissuade one player from sending just a lone squad to try to take that VP back and stop a little bleed. So anyways, we've got our first engagement. Sentinel running around in the middle. Got forced off by some Chaos Space Marines. Did a little damage, but not too much. On the bottom side, we've got Peacemaker. It looks like on the blue team going for a double Sentinel build. Commissar running around, getting knocked on his back by the Force Commander as he's activated his battle cry, and that Commissar is probably going to have to get out of there. He's trying to activate that shield, but it got knocked right back down. He has to retreat, but there are 2 Sentinels on the field. One of them just got their Stomp upgrade, of course, in the Keltos mod. Sentinels come with only 700 HP, and that Stomp upgrade gives them 100 extra HP and the Stomp ability, so they can't come right out of the gate and Stomp, but if these 2 Sentinels are microed correctly, they can really inflict some nice bleed on the Space Marine without taking any themselves. Peacemaker now bringing a second Guardsman squad onto the field, while Stone Elf Boy just went with a single Sentinel up top. Looks like the blue team's gonna secure the center VP out of the gate here right away. Force Commander actually doing lots of damage to these Guardsmen, and they go down. Oh my goodness. It looks like Peacemaker was trying to just kite around and maybe kill a TAC model or force off the Force Commander. But didn't quite work out for him at all. He kind of moved his Imperial Guardsman way up here and was sitting right with Tax and the Force Commander in his retreat path. So an early loss for Peacemaker. He's going to buy that squad right back. It wasn't upgraded or anything at all, so not too big of a loss when it comes down to it. Slightly more costly than a scout squad, but that's about it. You can see, looks like just the one Sentinel still upgraded with the Stomp. See if he upgrades the other one yet. Actually, it looks like he did right there as I went away from it. And we can see this typical double tactical Space Marine build coming in from PennyFlame. That's pretty consistently what you see against Imperial Guard is those 2 attacks. You really need that extra firepower to use one to shoot, one to engage in melee, and try to keep these squishy little Guardsmen from causing too much trouble. But with 2 Stomps on the field, these tactical Marines are going to be in a tricky position. There's quite a bit of ranged fire on the field, so if they get knocked out of cover and on their backs there, it's going to cause PennyFlame lots of bleed throughout the game if any of those models start dropping. So that's really what you have to do as Force Commander, is just minimize your TAC and ASM losses here. If he's paying attention, that Commissar Lord should be focusing this low squad. Here comes a nice looking Stomp, forcing the whole squad back. Sentinels caught in a bit of crossfire, though. If this other opposing Sentinel from Mr. Stoned Elf Boy hunts them down, this Sentinel could be in a lot of trouble. And, oh man, we're seeing the second Sentinel of Peacemaker way up here as well. Kind of a precarious position right now, as we can see Stoned Elf Boy also just got himself the Stomp upgrade. Plague Champion already upgraded with lots of war gear. Wow, that's a pretty heavy investment in your hero right out of the gate. We've got the Sword of Undeath, which of course gives you nice little zombie soldiers once you make any kills with that, and then the Fetid Armor, which gives the Unholy Stench ability, which suppresses and does a little AoE attack around the Plague Champion. So a build I don't see very often. I'll be interesting to see how that rolls out. See attack model go down in the wake of that Sentinel Stomp. Force Commander does force off that Commissar Lord, but they've kind of just been hanging right out here in front. The red team hasn't been able to get a full power farm up on this side of the map yet. Well, meanwhile, the blue team has one of their farms up and missing one gen over here. Red team has a full farm and an uncontested VP hanging out up top. Blue team's really been focused kind of together over here on this side of the map. And it's been working out pretty well, all things considered. Peacemaker had that one early loss, but it didn't really matter. They turned it around, got a couple model kills, and really put some pressure on PennyFlame's natural power farm right there. Stoned Elf Boy, instead of getting that second Sentinel, goes for the Catachan Devils. And of course, in this version of the game, the Catachans are at their full 7 members to start. They already have their Demolitions Man on the field, of course. And we can see these two Sentinels just wreaking havoc down here on the bottom side. Force Commander upgraded with his Storm Shield, which is going to be very powerful with those 2 tactical Marine squads, since the Imperial Guard that he is fighting against, Mr. Peacemaker, is primarily all range damage right here. You can see those Catachan Devils doing some pretty nasty damage. The only problem with the Storm Shield, as we're kind of seeing right here, is that any units under its effect are a lot slower. So unfortunately, these Catachans were kind of moving in and out of that radius and getting slowed down quite a bit. Nice use of Commissar Flare right there. These Catachans in a lot of trouble. If they don't fall back, they're going to start bleeding models. That's really, I think, a big difference between the old and new Catachans. Not just the damage output, but the fact that you can actually bleed Catachans right now makes them a lot more of a liability, possibly, because they are very expensive to reinforce. PennyFlame now opting to get himself a Devastator, calling that onto the field. Force Commander trying to fall back, getting a little low there, but with the help of that Storm Shield, he just takes so little range damage right now. And we might have a Gen Bash coming down over here. Red team does have a triple cap, gonna even those VP deficits out right away if they don't, if the blue team doesn't do something about that. Blue team was up pretty nicely there, hadn't lost many VPs at all until just now. Plague Champion finally went up here and took out that multi-laser turret, and then getting upgraded to the Bile Spewer. Man, DJraffa spending lots of power on his hero right now, between the Plague Sword, now the Bile Spewer, and the Fetid Armor. He's probably going to be pretty late going into Tier 2. Actually, yes, speaking of Tier 2, we can see that both of the Imperial Guard players are going into Tier 2. Meanwhile, DJraffa is still sitting at only 70 power. PennyFlame going to be hitting Tier 2 any minute here as well. Using that Storm Shield once again to get his troops out of the heat of battle. Force Commander did have to fall back, but he does have the victory point pretty well locked down for the time being. So these two Sentinels still doing pretty well, both of them sitting around at half HP. Need a little heal up, but they can kind of just sit here and pepper away at these tactical Marines in the meantime. He did manage to take out the power node and then retreats the attacks. Retreating the low squad attacks before he loses the model, probably a good idea. Don't want to lose that 83 wreck or 75 wreck, I believe it is. Commissar Lord upgraded with his power sword. Gonna start hacking away at these Chaos Space Marines over here, but eventually getting forced off. Just a bit too many range squads for one melee hero to run around on his own for. And Peacemaker instantly pulling a Manticore on the field. Stoned Elf Boy does have possibly the perfect counter for that with those Stormtroopers. Manticore tends to just kind of hang it in the back here. Looks like we had a nice looking Gen Bash over here with some Flamer Guardsmen. You don't see the Flamer Guardsmen purchased too often, especially against Chaos Space Marine. You tend to want to hold out for that plasma to really put the hurt on these Chaos Space Marines. But it looks like it paid off because there's a full farm that got taken out down here, or at least 2 generators. It might not have been the third. And man, we can see several Catachan mines hanging out here. Oh, that would have been a perfect time to activate one as well. The Sentinel's going to have to be very careful with these 2 squads of attacks. 2 squads of guardsmen cannot out-repair that kind of damage. But it looks like the attacks are going to focus right on top of that Sentinel. And here comes a first Mana Core strike, forces off both squads' attacks. Force Commander gets stunned by the Sentinel and has to fall back right there. Or actually, he doesn't fall back, he's just going to... He falls back, but doesn't retreat. It's okay. I know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Catachan's getting beat up pretty badly there while the Plague Champion drops himself a nice looking little turret on this top VP. VPs are about evened up once again, and these Chaos Grenade Launching Heretics with the Biospear are going to make short work of some power if Mr. Stoned Elfboy doesn't do something about it right here. Unfortunately, with this turret right here, he's not going to be able to pursue the Chaos Marines back to that VP. They're going to get the cap, and it's going to be looking like a 3-0 cap here for the blue team. So VP is changing hands very rapidly and very decisively back and forth between engagements. So we've got what looks like a pretty heavy engagement over here. That Mana Core is going to need to make a pretty solid hit to help win this engagement right now. Those Tactical Marines are trying to dodge it, but a nice looking stop from the Sentinel stuns both squads. Mana Core gets one final strike right there, and oh man! Look at that! Oh, a sad little Guardsman squad completely disappears in just the arc of exploding dirt and earth. That's a complete squad down for Mr. Peacemaker. That's the second Guardsman squad he dropped, and that was just a perfect placement of that Catachan bomb right there. Peacemaker now bringing on some Ogrins, which is going to give a lot of trouble, I think, to Mr. PennyFlame. PennyFlame's really been kind of depending on this Storm Shield to mitigate that range damage. Oh no, Sentinel getting very low after taking a rocket. 8 HP. Attacks are moving in to finish it off, but it looks like it's going to get away. Wow. Very fortunate there for Mr. Peacemaker. Getting the Commissar Lord out, and at the sight of the Ogrins, PennyFlame knows he just has to get the heck out of there. So you can see it. Commissar Lord getting upgraded with his Power Fist. That Power Fist, very, very nasty weapon. A lot of people kind of underestimate that Power Fist, but it does actually do almost the exact amount of damage that the Force Commander's Power Fist does. Bloodletters warp in, but instantly realize they are heavily outgunned, lose a model, even though they retreated almost right out of the gate. Mana Core Barrage pushes back the remaining ranged units of Mr. Stoned Elfboy and makes sure that no more... Oh no, Scout's getting very low here. That's Sarge in the back, so those Ogrins were just picking people off, and oh no, those last couple shots of the Ogrin weapons right there. Another Catachan going off there. Improvised explosive devices, those IEDs are killer. And Commissar Lord now upgraded with the Carapace armor as well. Oh, look at that Power Fist just doing some nasty damage. One more swing and he is just down for the count. Plague Champion didn't stand a chance. He was going to upgrade back to his Sword of Undeath.
The requisition point's in trouble.
And now we can see that Mana Core dropping once again. While a line of mines goes again, look at Stoned Elfboy just taking advantage of that choke point right there. That's actually going to make pretty much a death trap for these Sentinels. They're not going to be able to get out of here if they try to. This Sentinel's almost certainly going down if it hits any of those mines. Oh, there go a couple and a rocket. Force Commander, or no, sorry, Commissar Lord with the Power Fist over there. Everything just focused down that Sentinel. That's one of Peacemaker's Sentinels down. Another still on the field. Horn Marines now also on the field, coming in on these normal Space Marines, these tacks over here with the Storm Shield. You can see it looks like Peacemaker and DJraffa both had the same idea. If you want to go Storm Shield, we're going to go melee, they say. Oh no! Something just went down there. I didn't see one of the squads of Chaos Space Marines actually just died. Another Manticore strike going down, kind of whiffing, not hitting much of anything. In the meantime, we can see apparently this power farm up top had gotten captured by Mr. DJraffa.
A victory point is slipping away.
Stoned Elfboy now taking that right back and deciding to beat up Raffa's own power farm right there. Sentinel upgraded to its rocket launchers using those anti-vehicle rockets to take down that gen power node right there. And a little back and forth right here. Not quite sure. Either side doesn't want to engage quite yet, not knowing if they have the advantage. Plague Champion finishing up his upgrade and falling back after getting revived by the Commissar Lord. Stormtroopers now on the field as well. You can see those Ogrins kind of charged in there and realized they got suppressed, had to fall back. Knowing that that dev's on the field, you don't want to just send those Ogrins in unless you have the Manticore strike to really unwedge, or dislodge rather, that Devastator. Use the Manticore, dislodge the Devastator, and then you can charge in with those Ogrins uncontested. Force Commander, however, is upgrading to the Power Fist, so finally realizing that his Storm Shield is just going out of style a bit with all the melee that's currently on the field.
Our advantage is slight.
Corn Marines coming in to support the Imperial Guard Army. Stormtroopers falling back at the site of the Assault Space Marine jump. Another line of mines coming in here. That might delay the Ogrins. It looks like they're going to get around them before they get activated and primed here. Assault Space Marines getting perilously low, but so are those Corn Marines. They're going to have to retreat through quite a bit. That might be a squad attacks going down here. 6 HP, oh man. And just barely escaping with their lives. That would have been a big loss for PennyFlame right there, losing the squad attacks. Red team's doing a bit rough on these VPs though. They're down to 175 to over 300 right now. So they're really going to need to make sure they can hold these VPs. Nice use of the Unholy Stench, and now with that Plague Sword doing some nice damage, keeping those Imperial Guardsmen from being able to kite around and dodge his melee. So that build actually looks like it might work out pretty well. And it looks like, oh no, this Devastator's not set up, but Peacemaker's a little hesitant to engage it. He should have realized that he was close enough for that Dev. He just allowed it to set back up. A bit of an oversight right there.
Go ahead, sir.
And here comes another Manticore strike. Again, I don't... Oh, there he goes. He does use it on the Devastator, and now charging straight in there.
We are under attack. Scout attack.
Working out pretty well for him right here. Oh my goodness! What was that, an Emperor's Wrath? Is that what I just saw? Yes, it was. Completely obliterated Stoned Elf Boy's poor little Stormtrooper squad right there. That is a very powerful ability. What it does essentially is drop 3 Manticore strikes right on top of an ability, all within pretty much exact succession right there. And it can obliterate a tightly packed squad like we just saw. There's all those poor dead Stormtroopers. Gone before they even knew what would hit them. You can see it looks like Peacemaker also returning the favor for Stoned Elf Boy.
We have an edge for now.
Catachans again, not hesitating to use those mines all over the place. You can see them 1, 2. Is there still one up over here? No, just the 2 up for now. But been pretty effective so far. Already took out 1 squad. Stoned Elf Boy now bringing Ogrins of his own while Peacemaker gets a 2nd squad of Stormtroopers. That's going to be some pretty heavy long-range firepower for Peacemaker. This Manticore has been being pretty excellent at disruption, not killing too much, but doing a good job in general. Oh no, these guardsmen have to retreat. I don't know what Peacemaker's doing. Wake up, Peacemaker. You've already lost 2 squads of guardsmen, but they just fall without any resistance. Very unfortunate. We have a call-in coming in over here. What's it going to be, a drop pod? That could be very effective. Drop pods, of course, now staying on the field permanently and acting like a permanent reinforce point. Force Commander activating his battle cry, knocking Ogrins all over the place, but he's not going to be able to hold out on his own against this, I don't think. Although maybe so, since the Commissar Lord did fall back. Manticore strike coming down again. I don't believe Emperor's Wrath is cooled down yet. But with those 2 possible artillery strikes at any given time, that's going to be a brutal combination to deal with. Don't see Emperor's Wrath hitting the field too terribly often here. 2 very different builds too right now. We have the Commissar with the Power Fist and Stubbornness just running around being a melee damage dealing tank. And the other Commissar just kind of being supportive with his battle cry ability, and of course the Emperor's Wrath off map artillery strike. Down bottom, PennyFlame pouring on the hurt. Lots of Space Marines down here. Nice looking frag grenade coming from those Assault Kit Stormtroopers. That frag grenade, of course, exclusive to the mod. They do not have that in the retail version of the game. Oh, that Manticore strike not quite hitting. Gets a 2nd and 3rd, or sorry, 2nd and 4th missiles. Did manage to take out a model there, I think, of the Assault Space Marines. But, man, if you just line that up right along this retreat path right there, it would have been a lot more effective. Commissar Lord moving in. I believe we're going to see Emperor's Wrath go down right here. activated, and oh man, look at that go down on the Devastator. Devastator very low. Plague Cloud coming on the field though. It might be able to take it out, and it does. Ogren's now charging headlong into the fray. Assault Marines having to retreat through the Ogryns. They lose one model to the Plague Cloud. Ogryns might not be able to pick off another. In the meantime, let's see what's going on up top. You can see Stoned Elf Boy locked down pretty good on the top VP. Now 2 Catachan Mines actually on this VP up here. Gonna have to make sure that these detector units, these Chaos Heretics with their expiring champion, are gonna be able to go up there and scout those out. Those Catachan Mines have been very useful so far, so hopefully they're paying attention. Red Team really needs to get back here and take out this Manticore. Bloodletters coming onto the field, and we can see Mr. DJraffa up here locked down in the center of the map. Stoned Elf Boy now moving in, charging those Ogryns in there. But they're not going to be able to do too much. They got slowed down. Plague Champion doing lots of damage, and those Corn Marines and Bloodletters, that is way too much melee. Oh no! Zombie Ogryns on the field now after the entire squad falls to a nasty pile of melee. That tends to be what happened. Imperial Guard players recognize Ogryns as kind of their biggest, beefiest, strongest unit, but every so often they just tend to overextend them a bit too overzealously and lose those unnecessarily. So Bloodletters now hacking away at these Catachan Devils. They're trying to hide, but it's not going to work, not when they're in melee. They have to fall back after losing a couple members. Commissar might be going down over here. Teleporting Bloodletters finish them off. Those teleporting Bloodletters, sorry, I said that a couple times. They no longer have a melee charge, actually. They just teleport in on the enemy troops here. And oh no, just as I was saying, I may have missed it. Yes, there's a downed Manticore down here, and that was most likely due to Mr. Stoned Elf Boy Stormtroopers. An excellent little clandestine covert op down there to finish off that Manticore while all the action was happening up top. We can see some Stern Guards activated up here for PennyFlame, one of those squads getting upgraded. Stern Guards, actually, I don't know if they still do this, but man, Ogre's taking lots of damage. They have to retreat, unfortunately, otherwise they may have been able to take out those Assault Marines. Pretty low down there. Nice looking stomp and just a powerful, powerful push over here from the red team, forcing off all the blue team. Looks like that Plague Champ's going to go down. One last swing of the Power Fist and down he goes. But as I was saying, Stern Guards actually, I don't know if they still do this, but if there are any models down from the TAC Marine squad, if you upgrade to Stern Guards, it does bring them back up to their full 4 members. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. I feel like it probably isn't. And Stoned Elf Boy and PennyFlame confirming the fact that that Manticore is in fact obliterated, and probably reveling in that a bit as well.
Won't be long, sir.
So, oh man, here comes an Emperor's Wrath, hoping to catch those scouts off guard and return the favor since he did lose his guardsman squad down here. You still actually see most of them laying dead around that central VP. Or sorry, that requisition point. Looking at the central VP. And here we go. Leman Russ charging in with temerity. But unfortunately, there's lots of AV on the field. Rocket launchers, those Stormtroopers are out here. He should know the Stormtroopers are here. Melta going down. Missiles coming in from that Sentinel, and oh, that's what I hate to see. That is very unfortunate. A very transitory Leman Russ tank right there going down. Came out, made its appearance, and got obliterated by a pile of AV. 77 to 183. Red Team's just done some pretty serious blows to Peacemaker. We can see a noxious cloud coming down on these scouts over here. They're trying to get the decap, but it might cost them the squad. They're retreating right now. The cloud is a bit slower in this version of the mod. 3 of the scouts drop. The Sarge gets out of there with his life. But he is the lone survivor of that squad. Peacemaker down to just a squad of Ogryns and Stormtroopers after losing that guardsman squad on the requisition point, and then 2 of his vehicles very quickly in succession right there. A little too antsy and eager with his tank. You can see yet another layer of mines going down. You can actually see just a trail of mine craters going from this choke point all the way down into Peacemaker's base. 168 to 70. Blue team has an advantage, but they may have lost it in these last few engagements. They've been doing great on the VPs the entire game, but it's going to be rapidly turned around here if they're not careful. DJraffa trying to face off against the Commissar and his Catachan Devils, but not going to be able to do it on his own. It looks like DJraffa in Tier 3 saving up for something big. He does have the red for Chaos Terminators at this point in the game. Those grenade launchers should be focusing on the guardsman, not the sentinel. Especially with AoE weapons like that, you always want to be focusing down that sentinel. Stomp goes down, but we've got some Siege Marines coming in and doing heavy damage to that sentinel. Looks like it's going to get away though.
Sir, the advantage is ours.
Ogren's trying to get out of the base, but getting heavily slowed down by all those mines. Looks like the guardsmen are going to try to get a grenade in here, but it's going to cost them several models. They don't even get the grenade off. A bit of a misplay there by Mr. Peacemaker. Peacemaker's going to have to be very careful. Oh no! Right on top of this mine! Doesn't do too much damage, but man, doesn't kill any models at least. They're going to try to cap the point. That's going to cost him the squad if he does it. Yeah, he does fall back, and there's another mine in the retreat path. That could work out very nicely. They are a bit spread out. Melta Troopers trying to get something in here. Catachan's trying to get in the retreat path. Explosive goes off, but it might cost these Catachans their lives if they stay in and try to get these kills. Bloodletters don't do heavy melee anymore, but they do some nasty power melee still. A couple Catachan members way ahead of the squad might be able to save the squad because of that. And yes, we do have some Chaos Terminators on the field already upgraded with the Lightning Claws, giving the Force Commander a little taste of his own medicine. Finally able to respond to those Assault Lightning Claw Terminators with some Chaos Terminators of his own.
Stormtroopers reporting ready.
Peacemaker now bringing a second tank on the field, but Stoned Elfboy is as well. DJraffa is still with a very formidable force on the field, but Peacemaker's lagging a bit behind after those recent losses. Force Commander coming in and just going to start beating away on the back of this Terminator right now with his Power Fist. These Chaos Terminators a little weaker than their Space Marine counterparts. Force Commander might go down here, but if he takes one or two Terminators with him, that's entirely worth it, especially in a team game. Two Terminators go down and the Force Commander finally falls. That is entirely worth it, especially in a team game, as I was just saying, because your ally can just come out and res you for no cost at all. Nice looking Emperor's Wrath going down right here, but it doesn't quite connect. Plague Cloud going up, but it might not matter too much to all of these tactical Marines. They are very high HP squads. Fortunately, Red Team's losing their VPs very rapidly here. It's not sure if they're going to be able to do anything about this. Another swath of mines going down right here on the central VP. Everyone's trying to hang out and get the cap. That Plague Cloud actually did some pretty significant damage to these Space Marine squads. Didn't kill many models, but did enough damage to scare them off of the field. Leman Russ now coming up, but again, these mines consistently just been down on Peacemaker's side of the field over here. Commissar Lord level 6, but having to retreat to some pretty upgraded Catachan squads. Nice looking shot there by the Leman Russ tank. In the meantime, we see the opposing Leman Russ forcing off the Chaos Heretics on this side of the map with the help of the Stormtroopers and the Commissar Lord. Both sides vying desperately for VP control. Been seeing some pretty nice play from both sides. Peacemaker bringing his army back up to speed here after losing so very much. He's lost, I think, 3 or 4 guardsman squads, a squad of Stormtroopers, and a couple vehicles, but managing to stay in the fight. This might be a bit too much, this late game as Space Marine force. Always very difficult to deal with. We have another call in. Is that Terminators? No, it's another drop pod. Going to really fortify this forward position here by the central VP. Ogren's charging in, knocking Space Marines all over the place. Meanwhile, Assault Kit Stormtroopers trying to get in some nice damage while they can, but getting engaged and knocked over by Assault Space Marines. Melta squad coming in once again and maybe getting a third vehicle onto their kill count, but they don't quite finish off the tank. We do have a Vanquisher cannon on the Leman Russ of Mr. Stoned Elfboy though, but I think Peacemaker's Leman Russ got out of sight range right there. And now we can see Stoned Elfboy just focusing down. Oh, but the Commissar comes in, gets one last shot with the Power Fist. The Force Commander and Commissar Lord going in and double teaming that tank. Oh no, and another squad down for Peacemaker, losing that recently purchased squad. That might be it for the blue team. 94-19, but a triple cap for the red team, just pulling off an amazing push right there, completely stopping the blue team in their tracks as they tried to approach this central VP and do something about it. We can see Emperor's Wrath going down on this Leman Russ, and oh man, it does some pretty nice damage, dropping about 300 HP off of that Leman Russ. In the meantime, up top, Corn Marines, Bloodletters, and Siege Marines pushing back all the range power over here, the Catachans and Guardsmen squads. Those Corn Marines pretty beat up in the meantime, though, not going to be able to face off against 12 Space Marines on their own. Bloodletters moving in, they're not going to be able to do much to that Leman Russ tank, and especially with the support of all those Space Marines on the field. 38 points, 19 points is all that red team has left. Blue team's desperately trying to get something on the field here. But man, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Scouts coming over here. They're not going to be able to stay in here against these Stormtroopers and the Commissar Lord, but they really only need to hold on to 2 VPs at this point in the game. Assault Marines coming in with the Force Commander, going to try to take this VP and seal the deal. Meanwhile, Stoned Elf Boy up top, getting the decap on the top VP. I don't think DJraffa is going to be able to get back out there in time. Ogren's now charging down the Force Commander. He does fall. We can see another call-in come in. This might be Terminators. Yes, it is. Assault Terminators finally showing on the field after 2 drop pods have come down. Corn Marines getting knocked around by mines. Once again, those mines have been used extremely well from Mr. Stoned Elfboy. Bloodletters trying to force off that tank, but not doing too much damage on their own. 19 points to 8. 17 ticking down for the blue team. They only really need to cap one more time. If they can just get the cap, 8 points is not enough time to get the full decap unless they get it immediately. But man, I don't know if the blue team can hold on. It's really neck and neck right now. Blue team's pushing up a bit too far though, I think. Chaos Terminators will be able to get the decap on this side of the map if they get there in time, but 8 points, 7 points, that's not going to be enough time. That's going to seal the deal for the red team with the scouts forcing off that last capping squad of Corn Marines. And that's the GG coming in from Mr. PennyFlame. What a game. What a game indeed. Peacemaker just lost a bit too much there towards the second half of the game. Coming out very strong against PennyFlame, especially once they brought that combined melee force down on the Storm Shield of the Force Commander. We can see the Stern Guards and rocket attacks here, pouring some fire into that Plague Champion at the last moments here while the Scouts captured that central VP. So very good game, excellent showcase of some of the fun that the Elite Mod brings to the game, and some new units, some good balance changes of course, and what a play by the red team, bringing that back at the last second. Some excellent Catachan mines and just general deviousness with those Stormtroopers knocking out Peacemaker's various vehicles. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the game. Stick around for next week's episode, or next week's. It'll be in a few days. I'm not going to wait a whole week, but there'll be some contests and some fun things like that. Anyways, this is Red-Rupee. Feel free to comment, subscribe, talk about the game, discuss strategies, the Elite Mod, what have you. I'll catch you guys next time.